Welcome to Center Hice Productions. Thank you for joining me. It is July 25th, 2023. The episode is about the Habs goaltending situation. Please hit the likes and subscribes below. Muchly would be appreciated. And we got Bob Gainey in the house as co-host, as usual. And we appreciate having him here. One of the best players in the world in his time, as the Russians had said. Okay, so we did promise to mention there was two signings that were, I think, about a week and a half ago, and I didn't put them on an episode. I didn't find it serious enough, I guess. However, they were good depth signings. One was Candata, who has been in Laval. He got a 2-year extension, and that's to solidify a veteran being down in Laval. So that's a good signing. Then we also got Nick Bodine from the Colorado Avalanche organization, a defenseman, veteran-wise. That's going to be another Laval situation for some leadership now. So those are the two signings I wanted to mention today. Promised I would, so that I'd be up on all signing, trades, whatever was still happening in Montreal. Anyway, now we're going to get to the topic of what's going on in Montreal. We've heard numerous rumors of the goaltending situation in Montreal. Here we come down to what do we think? What do you think the Habs should do? There are many rumors out there, and I'm going to nail them. Okay, first one, we've heard this all along. We know Ken Hughes has made it very clear. That's why we heard this on a channel that was promoting this, but it was weeks before Hughes made it clear he wasn't interested in Carter Hart. And I don't blame him, because Carter Hart's an underachiever, and he's long enough in his career that he's going to be very average, if anything. He's injury prone, and I just don't think he has the strength mentally to dig himself out of the hole he's in. He's just lost the confidence and not at the level he ever should have been. Maybe he was projected to be better than he was. That type of scenario. Anyhow, what it came down to, the person thought we would trade the barnyard and get a defenseman back with Carter Hart. That's just unrealistic. Why would we go down that road? So Carter Hart thing, the way he's involved in the latest rumor is a three-way trade involving Montreal, Toronto, and Philadelphia, because Toronto wants Carter Hart, can't afford him. So they're hoping that Montreal, in turn, will cover some of the costs, probably of whatever the contract difference is for their first round. And Matt Murray. Are we out of our cotton picking mind, whoever's coming up with these rumors? Carter Hart's bad enough. Matt Murray? Does Montreal need to go down there? We're trying to improve our goaltending, not go backwards. So that's a no-go. These are the two major no-goes. Would we really want to give up Sean Farrell, someone like Harris, and or Stubel, and 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick to get Carter Hart and this defenseman, and in turn it would be transferred with Carter Hart. And I didn't even hear the defenseman involved any longer in the three-way trade, so it would be strictly goaltenders. However, do we really want to end up with someone who's even worse than Carter Hart? Matt Murray, who, Pittsburgh clearly found out that's where he had the bulk of his best career. And they figured out he wasn't a goaltender they thought he was going to be. Shane went to Ottawa. What the hell Toronto was thinking at this point with the injury proneness of Murray. I don't know what Toronto was thinking to ever bring him at the cost, quite a high contract. And, these two goaltenders have pretty high contracts for goaltenders. You don't want to go down that road with goaltenders who have proven the opposite results, not being good. So Toronto's just trying to dump their garbage, so is Philadelphia. And we just got to be smart enough to fall, not fight for the biscuits. Thank God all I can say is that Hughes and Gordon are in charge of our team, because when I hear stuff like this, what are you trying to do? Destroy our team? And to me, that Toronto uh, first round draft pick is not even attractive, because they're still, even though their window has ended, to my books, might have one last crack at it for the cup. I don't know about that. I think they kind of missed it this season. Uh, they're still going to be high enough in the East. That first round draft pick is not going to be worth anything. It's going to be at the bottom. So why would that be enough to give up the kitchen sink in the barn? It's not. It's not worth it. Now, Philadelphia, if we could manage to get Philly's first round draft pick and not give up so much, that would be more understanding, because they're probably going to be two teams above us in the draft. I think when all is said and done, they're slightly better than us. Mind you, it's going to be interesting to see, because Montreal could pass them. You never know. However, they're not that far ahead of us. So if we could get their draft pick, that would be understandable. But I don't want Toronto's first round. They're too high in the standings. It's not going to be well worth us doing that, taking up the burden of the cost of it and giving up so much. So those are the two goaltenders I want to say, no, we shouldn't go that road. But what should we do? This is what this is about. Leave your comments about it. Tell me what you think. And then we go into a different direction, where we've seen Wolf from Calgary's been mentioned a lot all year, for a year now. And again, during last season, they were asking way too much. And now, if they've come to their common sense, and we don't have to give up so much, then that is fine. However, you don't want to give up a ton. He's not proven to that degree. He's ahead of where Primo sits, but he's still not proven at the NHL level yet. So hopefully the new management Calgary understands that, because I could see us attempting that road if it was reasonable, giving it a shot. And you're taking a chance, because he was so far. He was a 7th round pick as well, like Primo. Now he's having a few better results than Primo. Seems to be a stronger character, but still not proven. So you don't give up the barnyard for him. But that would be a better route than the first two I mentioned. Then we go to the next one, the final of the four that are trade talk wise, which would be Askarov from the Nashville Predators, where they've already got Cerro, so they don't, they're looking at trying to shop him and get something for him. That wouldn't be a bad. I think that's the best one out of them so far, to tell you the truth. And as long as the price wasn't too steep, you could dump a Sean Farrell, and maybe a second round pick, or second round and a fifth, something of that nature. And possibly, I don't know how you could go much farther and give up one of the defensemen aren't going to make the Habs, and like make it somewhere else, maybe. But that's as far as I go. But I think Askarov would, by far, out of those four, be the best choice. And I know Buffalo also has that young goaltender, which I forget his name is, for the prospect, that is kind of in the same range as Wolf. And that's another one. I didn't even put him in the package, because there's just too many of them. Then we get down to Caden Primo. This, to me, is a joke. Caden Primo has taken steps backwards, had an awful season last year in Laval, went in reverse, in progression mode, clearly showing, and it has had enough opportunities with the mother team, Montreal, that he has shown he doesn't have the confidence, he loses his net, he is not NHL material. So at best, if you kept him, you keep him in Laval. Let him be a veteran goaltender down there. Do you do that? Is he worth it? I'd let him walk, personally. But I do, however, think the decision will be made on him in training camp and in the preseason. This will be his final hurrah, whether he makes the team or not. He's not going to outplay Jake Allen for that, even the backup role. And to me, Sam Montembeault has earned starter. And now that gets to my next point and the final point. So we answered that. Kate was not the answer. Who's the answer? You got it right in front of you. For this season, we're not in a hurry. Sam Montembeault has progressed. Him and Pizzetta were positive sparks that we thought were guys that were not, they were trade bait last year in our vision, but they proved us wrong and showed steps forward and progression in their game. He's outright earned it. He played so well behind a busted up team that was banged up, injury prone, and didn't play well in front of him, and he played exceptionally well. Then he went off to Canada and won that world championship for them, and he really single-handedly, in my books, was the difference and the reason they won that. So Sam Montembeault, to me, out of all those names that we mentioned, why do we not give him the look and let him lead? Of course we do. Of course we do. He's shown better results for us than what Carter Hart would or Matt Murray would. So he outplayed them. He's an unproven lug wolf, hasn't even proven himself to be at the Montembeault's pace yet. And then Askarov, maybe you make a trade for an Askarov and have those two duos, but then you'd have to unload out. But we're in no hurry, so you don't have to give up the barnyard. So I say Sam Montembeault is your starter. We're in no hurry, and it gives us an opportunity to get a half-decent draft pick once again in the up-and-coming draft. And I am saying with that. So I say let's stick Sam Montembeault. You possibly unload Allen at trade deadline. Then you look at maybe you do have to grab Askarov, a guy like that, when you can. But we brought in 3 rookie goaltenders as well, so there's a lot. As long as we keep addressing it. And I think really we've got to be careful here. We have now addressed our defense well enough. We don't need to go near our defense anymore in the drafts. We need the superstar goals scorer. How you come about that, I don't know if there's any more in the next couple of drafts coming up. And we're going to be an eye to get them. However, if we are, or you make you grab them. If not, you're going to have to make a trade to get one. And maybe you do trade a couple of those first rounders in the next couple of years to get them. That has to be addressed. We need a goal scorer. We need more than that. It's time. It's been 30 plus years now, and we haven't had one. So it's time. We address that with our drafts, and we still keep our eye on the goaltending. We need to be cautious, and it wouldn't hurt to have another top prospect that we know that could pull it off. So those are 2 areas Montreal should be focusing on. However, what's been mentioned in goaltending trades really does not seem feasible or viable for the Montreal Canadiens with what they already have. Sam Montembeault has already proven that he's up to task with all those names that have been mentioned. And the only one that might give him a run is Askarov. And maybe that's a great thing to, if you can pull off too. Other than that, I think you have your answer. We got young goaltenders down in the NHL that will be progressing and developing. So, and again, I think in the draft coming up, we now got to focus on getting that explosive superstar on offense and a good goaltender. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for joining me. And however, I do want to, before I leave here, I want to make one thing clear. I projected in one of my previous episodes where I thought Montreal would fall. And I kind of think I gave them too much credit. And it's not that I'm giving them too much credit because they are going to have more points. I don't think it's going to be drastic. I think you're looking at a ballpark of anywhere from 3 to 10 points difference. Mind you, I don't even think they'll hit the 10. I think you're looking at a little under that, maybe 8. But I don't think it's going to be enough to move them up in the East standings. I still think we're going to be the basement team in the East. And if anybody gives us competition for it, it'll be Philadelphia and Washington, honestly. I don't think Pittsburgh, but and you always got to watch it. Ottawa, but they're ahead of us in the progression. So you got to think. This is why we won't make a playoff run, even though Montreal's now promoting it. They got to do that for culture. It's time to start putting the rules in culture. But we're not going to be in the running for a playoff spot. Let's be realistic. You've got Detroit ahead of us. You've got Buffalo ahead of us. You've got Ottawa ahead of us. You've got Jersey ahead of us. These teams are going to, we already got Jersey making playoffs. They've already done it. They're going to still, and they're only going to go move forward. And then you're going to have a team join the East. And that's going to be like Detroit, I think. Detroit and Buffalo have a good chance of being the next 2 teams to take one of those spots of the teams that are declining. The teams like Washington and Pittsburgh. And We don't know where Philadelphia or Florida's going to sit now as well because they lost a lot of players out of that team. So I think they're now in jeopardy of missing the playoffs with what's showing over there. So there's three teams, and to me, that's where the door opens. Detroit, to me, is making the playoffs, and they'll be the team that probably steals the last playoff spot in the East or the second last. And you might have Buffalo do so as well, get in there. But I do not. And Ottawa will be fighting for it, but I think they're just going to be on the outside. And actually, I think that Ottawa is looking at, probably around 13th position in the East. Just a little bit on the outside. They're not quite as far as the other teams, but they're well ahead of Montreal. But with that being said, like I said, it's going to show we're going to have a good season. Like I said, 3 to 8 points more than last season. It'll be good progression. And God knows everybody's probably going to take a step forward, but teams are ahead of us. So we still got a little, and we got time. So there's no panic on it. And so I say with that, it's still going to leave us. The only teams that probably could be behind us is Chicago, more so the West teams. Chicago, San Jose, maybe Anaheim. It's hard to say because they got a good. I think they're going to move up because of their front line, but they're going to do something with their defense because that's where they're hurting. And Arizona always finds themselves in the running for top picks in the draft. I don't know how they dump off too much good product, and if they lose Keller, they put them right back at that spot. So I think the Habs will definitely be a top 5 team. And what I mean by that, I mean the bottom 5 for the draft. So they're going to get another good draft. So with that being said, that's where I see it. I just wanted to change my projection. I still think Montreal is looking at 28th or down. They're going to be 28th or down in my projection. 28th to 32, somewhere in that ballpark. A lot of those lower teams got some efficient teams that are going to move up a bit. And I think, I honestly think we could be somewhere that 3rd to 5 again in that ballpark. So anyway, I want to thank you. That's what we wanted to answer that. And I'm really curious what the rest of the Habs think. I just have to crush some of these crazy ideas that some of our fan base are putting out there, whether it be small podcasts or the fan base or some of the reporters. It's ludicrous. Some of these trade proposals between Philadelphia and Toronto. We do not need or want goaltenders like Carter Hart or Matt Murray. We would be going backwards. Montembeau has shown progression. They have shown decline. So let's stay clear of those things and let's get our fan base behind realisticness and trying to get a good goaltender in the system. And us making decent trades and not giving away the barnyard because we got some good young prospects coming up and things are going to start changing. But we got time to. Wouldn't hurt to be another 2 seasons in the bottom 5 and get 2 more good drafts. So with that being said, I want to thank you for joining me here at Center Hice. Please hit the likes and subscribes. Let's try to get 100 views, or 100 likes. That would be great. Tell your friends and family about it. We muchly appreciate having you here, and I'm sure there's going to be more because now we're getting close to August where training camp is going to begin. It's going to get interesting. I'm really excited actually because I'm looking forward to what the kids are going to do. And one thing I am very concerned about is I still haven't heard of Ilona being signed. So anyway, thank you. Where's Puck Drop first? Here at Center Ice. Thank you. And we will see you in the next episode. God bless.